The story starts in a destroyed and dilapidated building, at the highest level of assassination, as our protagonist sits in a round table drinking good booze after finishing the assassination job he was ordered. It seems his target never had the chance to notice his killing intent until before death, thus marking his mission to be accomplished. However, he didn't expect in this day and age he would encounter a slave trade where a little girl was involved. Seeing her kept purposely deep within his target's headquarters, it seems she was a very much favored important figure. Finding her no doubt of something special, the MC then called her out for concealing her killing intent so skillfully. She tried to came at him with her claws but was stopped, where he complimented her wonderful talent. As he came to the conclusion of asking her to come with him. As his days of assassinating targets pass, calling him to be worthy of the title Supreme Assassin, however he denies this as he is no longer worthy of that title, upon going back home and using his skills. He was still caught by surprise of Lily, the slave he once freed. This little girl welcomed him back warmly, where he couldn't sense her presence and killing intent, and to him the Supreme Assassin worthy of that title was Lily. It seems before Lily was found and was a slave, she couldn't understand the language. The MC finds his targets to be inept compared to Lily. It seems she was sensitive to hostility, and decided to calm her down with his kind pampered gesture, assuring her she was safe now. It seems for Lily this was the first time she felt warm. Despite being cold, it suddenly felt warm, and for Lily she finds this feeling to be strange. As the night falls, Lily was clinging onto the MC, not wanting to let go. It seems she eagerly wanted to sleep together in the same bed, but he insists she should sleep alone. Left alone in her bed, she then retaliates and sneaked off into Soijiru's bed. She seems to get the idea he doesn't wake easily once he fell asleep and decided to sneak into his bed. As morning came, upon waking up, the MC is left stunned and surprised seeing Lily clinging onto him. He finds this troublesome as he didn't had any reaction to being raided while he was sleeping. This made him to even more solidify that Lily is a prodigy. As they ate in the morning, Lily is highly praised, being the owner of a magnificent gift. Soijiru still finds that she still has a number of other facets where she needs to be supported. Even when eating and handing utensils, she still needs assistance. As Lily faced difficulty in the task she was handed, Soijiru gave words of encouragement as becoming assassins. One might face extraordinary situations no matter the field. It seems feigning normality is an ability and powerful weapon for them. Lily then questioned if being in love is also a good thing. The MC blatantly answers that this was also a meaningful experience, where she reacted pleasantly and hugged him warmly. As Soijiru finished up another mission, he defied his superior's request of his next assignment, abstaining from any essentials missions. It seems he wanted to come home and buy Lily a gift. Upon arriving back home, she hurriedly got excited over the cake he bought. Hurriedly trying this, she was delighted about its taste, questioning this sweets as this was her first time. The warm atmosphere made Lily to feel happy about her situation right now, as before she was all alone. The word delicious and tasty haven't came across her mind before. And ever since he came into her life saving her, she finds happiness in this. We flash back to the past, where from around the time when Soijiru first rescued Lily, he always stayed by her side. He seems to not look at talk to her, but despite this she still knew he was his saviors from being scared and lonely all by herself. As their days goes by, Lily became worried as she ponders that Soijiru is suffering from sleep deficiency, causing him to have awful dark circles in his eyes. This made her to cling on to him, venting out her worry. As he tries to argue of having the very definition of a healthy body, he pushed the idea his title of being an assassin who can operate even without sleep. Lily doesn't budge hearing this and wants to give him a pillow lap. She uses her tears and worries about his health that left him no choice but to comply. As she slowly head pats him under her care, she insists of easing his worries and made him to immediately fall asleep. This troubled her as she finds discomfort as her knees almost gave out. Soijiru, living his life as an assassin, have many self-imposed rules, being extremely righteous and egoistic rules. It seems adhering to the rules as routine made them to dramatically improve their abilities. Waking up early every single day and dressing for work to care for Lily, he uses this as motivation to keep going. Soijiru towards his targets aims for their heads always. He analyzes the situation around him and his targets, setting limits and executing with certainty. As their days goes, Soijiru mentions Lily wearing the same clothes. It seems Lily is fond of this as it was picked by him, but upon explaining he only put this together as it doesn't have any useless pieces. Hearing this made Lily to go change her outfit immediately into a white outfit dress. Upon wanting to try out more outfits, Lily urges she tries more. Soijiru pushed the idea of rules or rule but gave exceptions to her. The next day as they play cards against one another, Soijiru mentions that assassins are those who maintain composure and control of themselves regardless of the situation. With determination, Lily is keen on not losing. However, shortly after she put on a worried face as Soijiru took her cards. She seemingly can't read Soijiru and had a hard time choosing from his deck of cards. Left with no choice, he put on a smile and emotions to be read by Lily, where in the end he ultimately made her win. As the next morning arrives, Soijiru's assassin life continues, where he explained that they are famed for their command of informational warframe, from the targets surrounding geography to their personal history and associated organization. At the same time, they do not let it govern them and deal with individual who control information. Which in return, as much as possible, he avoids placing restrictions on Lily's access to information, letting her gain experience with various media on a regular basis. For Lily, this was watching cartoons. She was happily rooting for the villain, where Soijiru questioned this attitude. However, for her, she is more fond of the villain in this show. Soijiru agrees as the villain is very well versed into his enemies and spread false infuse, confusing his enemies, not having any losing qualities. However, the villain seems naive more or less and is bound to get tripped up if he doesn't change. As the show continues, the villain slowly met his demise, being defeated through teamwork. Soijiru calls this out to be absurd. Whoever, Lily is in tears as his favorite character is now dead. As he cries into his chest, she is worried, being anxious that he mustn't lose to his enemies. As assassins live within the extraordinary, these individuals have that appalling history left behind on their bodies from old wounds. In regard to that, Lily the child is no exception, but she differs from Soijiru, who lives a life he chose of assassinating, whereas she didn't had a choice. As the days slowly goes by, the wounds on her back have gotten a lot better. Lily is overjoyed as her back doesn't hurt anymore at all. The scars doesn't seem to bother her, but only cared if it hurt or not. Soijiru pointed out that her scars will remain and won't go away. He suggests to Lily that later on she could get those scars removed, as he have a friend who is an excellent doctor that could do so. Lily, hearing this, urged to not have it removed, as Soijiru also have a lot of scars. Fond of her savior, she wanted to have something incomparable with him, where Soijiru praises her for being a really strong kid. The next morning arrives, where an assassin of a member of the syndicate named Azuki Koka finds Soijiru's behavior as of late to be unpardonable. It seems he repeatedly violated orders. If not for his achievements, he would have been disposed of. The cause is obvious, pointed towards the Sav girl named Lily. It's then decided of their separation urgently. She arrived at their front door to give a friendly warning. But upon entering, she was unfortunate to find his presence. However, she was caught by surprise as Lily-chan jumped her, where she stares at Azuki to be hostile. Questioning Lily's appearance, it seems she finds her cute all of a sudden. Soijiru, knowing the situation beforehand that Azuki couldn't win, but was shocked to see she was a cute kid lover and couldn't help but dote on Lily that much. Seeing the situation, she eagerly wanted to help out, but was declined by Soijiru, as in the end she couldn't even win against Lily. Shortly after, Azuki explained about something needing conviction due to Soijiru being an assassin. She then questioned if he was willing to perish for the sake of the kid. Seeing as he doesn't have that resolve, she stepped in, wanting to do something about it. Specializing in intelligence and Soijiru's skills disposing targets, she wanted to take action for Lily-chan's sake. He tries to deny her assistance as the likes of her support is not needed. Soijiru is confident, being specialized in her area of expertise also. Their argument soon ended as Lily overheard their conversation, questioning if he was in trouble. With teary eyes she wonders if this was her fault. The two of them could not win and pampered her with warm pleasant gesture and words. The next day arrived. Lily was eating bell peppers as part of her diet and health. Soijiru explained that as an assassin there are times when one is compelled to exercise self-control and endure. That night as he was about to head off to work where Lily-chan is bidding him farewell. He noticed that Lily seems odd. He questioned her if she was holding back. He asks that she should not take it too far despite self-restraint being essential because she was still a child. Lily seems aware that he is in a weird predicament due to her presence, but Soijiru points out to her that this is not something a child like her should worry, and should focus on her attention on her own work. While still immature, he wanted her to go learn and reflect on things, acting out on her emotions and mistakes. As he knew already, these are the jobs that are important for a child. Left with no choice that night, Soijiru stayed with Lily's side, calling Azuki, leaving his duties to her. Using the reason that she was the cause of Lily's outcry, we transition to Azuki being a top-ranking sky of the elite, and this time her target was the cute girl that Soijiru was caring for. It seems her goal was to cozy up to her and win her over. Being a simple job for her, she was confused as she didn't get treated that way she thought, finding this situation to be super awkward. As Lily vents this was difficult, Azuki tries to comfort her, but her words resulted in Lily being frustrated against her as she already knew this. The moment ended as Soijiru came back where Azuki lost in many ways as she also cried in defeat. Being an elite assassin, there are times where you will make a wrong choice. Lily, being curious, questioned Azuki's relationship with him. He answered being something like partners. As he tries to explain, it's more of being like colleagues. Lily misunderstood and tries to become his partner also. Soijiru declines as she was still a child, and asks that she should choose her future. It seems it's too early for her to choose something important as she hasn't seen what other options exists for her. This left her to be frustrated, as she was misunderstood. This made her to bolt out of the room, leaving him no choice but to contact Azuki for help. As the next night once arrived, Azuki is on a cover operations, and for her she is confident of not being found out. Lily, seeing her put up a question if she likes Soijiru, she tries to deny this as Lily-chan is loved much more. As she slowly understood what she meant, they both awkwardly stood in silence but was cut short as Soijiru arrived. Seeing the awkward Lily, Azuki was soon found out even though she made a cat noise to drown out her presence. In the end she was chased out immediately.